Hello there, this is Jeff Erdman, E.D.S. Inc. Shandon, and welcome to another episode. So this episode is going to be primarily about the move-in of our G&E Shaper. You saw our Lone Star, Texas road trip where we picked up the G&E. You're going to see us doing a little bit of work on cleaning it up before we moved it into the building. How did we get it into the building? We don't have a forklift big enough to lift the whole thing, so we can't lift it and move it. So you're going to see how we did that and how we got it into place. And you're also going to see the renovations to our shop so that we could fit that machine into our shop. And what are we going to do with the machines that we already had in here? And how are we going to organize things? So we'll show you a little bit of that in this video. Taken and pressure washed the G&E Shaper. I've got some WD-40 up there on the vise. I've taken all the raw surfaces and sprayed them with WD-40 to prevent rusting, and we've got her relatively clean. Still a lot of work before it be ready to paint again, and I'm having a hard time determining whether the original color was green or gray, because there's a little bit of both kind of sticking through this thing. And I just haven't determined which is the original and which is the painted color. But anyway, it's shaping up to move in. The chain wrapped around the base, and if you can come down here, it's on the underside of the rod, on the back side of the rod, the drive rod for the table, so there's nothing that the chain can damage. So I'm just pulling against the casing of the casing here, so we're not damaging anything as we're pulling it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shift this whole thing over that way so we can go through that little space down at that end. So I'm going to pull the forklift on out. We'll readjust this table. I can't pick up the full weight because my lift's not rated for that. So what I'll do is just pick up one end, pull it over, then the other end, and we'll move it over until we got it where it's supposed to be.
far.
Huh?
Okay, it's on the floor now.
Did I forget to put a pipe out there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was wondering what the hell you were doing.
Well, now you know. I wasn't. Well, it's time to try to turn this thing. So I gotta, what I'm thinking is I'll hook onto this I-beam here and try to lift it and pull it with a hoist. So I'm gonna have to put a jig on that I-beam and see if we can't use it to turn this thing. But that might be a good job for tomorrow. It'll take me a while to get this jigged up. Oh, we're getting the shop reorganized. Ajax is staying where it's at, and the Brown and Sharp surface grinder is, but we've moved our drill press and our arbor press, Famco, back to the back, and we moved our Bridgeport back to the corner there. And now our Monarch is out where I can get to it. So we'll be starting to fix this thing up here shortly and put it to use. And we moved our Goodall upstairs, and within the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a deck up there so we can work on. We can use that up there. So I decided to expand the upper deck. So what's the reason why I wanted to clear everything out? Right there, the G&E Shaper. I just got it into the shop, moved it back here. This is where it's going to be placed. So tomorrow I'll go about getting this turned. This back end will face the bandsaw and pushed on in here. We rolled it in, as you can see, on pipe rollers because it's too heavy for my forklift to lift. I can lift one end of it, but that's about it. Pretty excited to get this into the shop. It'll be a while before we get it running, though. I have to do a lot of work on it. So this is the space I had to push it through on rollers, and now I have to turn it. Now that thing weighs about I think it was 8,500 pounds or something like that. So it's pretty heavy to try to move around. So we're going to put a bar halfway between it, get it balanced, and then swivel it. And that'll take a little bit of doing, but we'll get it done. And then back it on into that slot I showed you before. And then we've got our I-beams, so we can put our new I-beams up here and up in the upper section there, and add on to that section. So we're going to put our ovens up there too. So we'll be able to do some powder coating as well. So that's an exciting addition. So in our last portion of the video, you saw that the machine fell off the pipes down onto the deck, and I didn't get another pipe underneath it. So what we're going to do, because basically I have to turn this into and over onto that platform, and there's no way of getting equipment in here to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the machine from the front end with the forklift. I'm going to move the pipe back to where the machine is just kind of balancing on one pipe, and that'll enable me to kind of lift one edge and kind of move it around in a circle, pointing the back end towards my bandsaw over there. So at least that's my theory. That's what I'm going to give a try here. So that's what we're going to try to do right now. got my jack here, and we're putting our feet on the bottom of the lift. So this is a pallet jack, and it can lift 5,000 pounds, and it was able to lift this side for me, so so I could get these feet on. I'm going to put them on feet. I know I'm supposed to bolt them down. I may make a bracket and bolt these down afterwards, but I want to have leveling feet so I can get it leveled. So that's the reason for the feet. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I've got my pallet jack here. And of course, this is my shaper here. So we've got her exactly centered on the steel, just as I wanted. So we're setting her down. So I had to change things up a little bit. I didn't realize that on the bottom of these feet, the bottom nut didn't adjust upwards. I thought it adjusted upwards so that I could level this. So my bad, I should have checked that out before I went any further, but that wasn't the case. So the second nut has to go down so that it can be adjusted up to level the machine. And so I had to pull everything, pull all these back off to do that, and so I could cantilever this machine back and forth. I put wood blocks in here because the machine doesn't slide on those like it would the pipes, and plus I could get a little bit higher. So now I've got the back feet with the adjustment nut on them. Now I can slowly raise the front. I'll pull out the blocks. I'll slowly lower the front end and lower it onto these feet as it goes down. And so it'll be a little bit of a dance, but we'll get her done. I'll show you pictures as I get to each stage and we set it down onto these feet. So what I'm doing now is we're extending our loft area up here so we can put more stuff up there so we have more room. So I'm now installing an I-beam up there. I've knocked out the board there. All we have to do is take it and slide it in through the top here and then slide it back into that little slot up there, and then I can weld some brackets to hold it up there, then drill it into the other I-beam. Okay, so it's not going to fit up in here unless I have it kind of at an angle. So I'm going to take and pull this side down, back this way, and then we'll feed this into the area it's supposed to go into, and hopefully everything will work right. I'm going to put a clamp on the end of this fork so this thing can't slide off. try to move that back in this way. I have to knock that little part up. We got up in there. Get this off. You might have noticed I covered my mill with a blanket. Didn't want that. There we go. I got a 1-inch slot there now. Now we can move this over. So that line you see up here is our center line, and you can see that it goes right down the dead center of that I-beam. So we hit our mark. You can see how tight that is, right up against this I-beam. And the other thing that turned out perfect, from the top of this to the top of the supporting I-beam, was supposed to be exactly 3 inches, and my cut on that thing set it down right at 3 inches. So we're good there. And so all I have to do now is I need to make some clamps. You can see over on that side how we welded an L bracket to it and bolted. That's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to weld an L bracket here and then bolt it to the I-beam. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and put this one up. And then when we get that one up, then we'll do all this at one time, one setup. On this side here, you can see the center line there of our I-beam just dialed right in there, right close. And you can see where we already got brackets welded to this I-beam, and it's sitting up on top of that I-beam. So just the way it's supposed to, and it's tied up against the plywood at the top. That's what we wanted. We didn't have much room here. There's real tight tolerances in through here. We got everything set the way we want to. Now I need to make some brackets that are going to go back to that I-beam and bolt across to it, and then we'll have this tied in, this one here tied in. So that's what we'll do. Now I've got the I-beams up now for the extension of the loft. This was originally just going to be a bridge between two lofts. Now we're just going to fill this whole thing in and use that as usable space up there. So we're putting these I-beams across. And this one is particularly in a good spot, because if you notice how this I-beam is just dead on over my G&E Shaper. So that I'll be able to put a hoist there and be able to lift off these parts so I can fix them and recondition them. So it'd be way too heavy for me to do that on my own. That's going to add a lot of square footage. It's about 8 feet by, I don't know, It's about, I think it's 16 feet, maybe 17 feet across. So that's going to add quite a bit of space up there for more of my tools. So I'm going to put my oven up there so that we can actually do powder coating and bake our stuff in the oven. So I'm going to keep that oven I have in the back, and we'll use that for powder coating, for finishing. So I'm looking forward to it. We want to thank you for viewing E.D.S. Inc. Shandon. If you enjoy our content, you can always subscribe and you'll see more of it. We have not been able to get a weekly video out. It's running about one every 2 weeks, sometimes even as long as a month, unfortunately, due to basically work. We've been very, very busy. I'm involved in a lot of volunteer work as well, so trying to do a video in between all of that is sometimes a little bit difficult. So we're trying to get it out on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, and we'll do our best to do so. And you're going to see a lot more of our G&E 36-inch shaper as we renovate that and get it cleaned up. I don't want it sitting here like I have had the Monarch and the Brown and Sharp sitting here without use for better than a year now. I'm going to really diligently try to get that thing up and running as soon as possible. I'm also moved my Monarch into another location. It's where my Goodall used to be, and the reason for that is because I really plan, as I'm working on the G&E, I'm going to be working on the Monarch as well. I want to get that up and running so we can use it here in the shop, and we'll tinker away at getting all the tools up and running. Anyway, thanks for joining us on this video, and I hope you enjoy it.